Okay, today we're focusing on the jaw. We'll certainly, touch all the other parts of the body as well, but focusing on the jaw in particular, a lot of us clench our teeth or we have a tight jaw. We might not even realize it until we start to touch the jaw. And the jaw has a link to the hips. So somatically, they're connected. So working with one will help the other and vice versa. I don't know if we'll use any props. You might have a couple blocks, might have a bolster, blanket handy. We'll see where we get today. So we'll begin lying on our backs in Shavasana. Well, the first thing to do is to not do anything. Just be the recipient of gravity and breath. And then just kind of take a global inventory of what is present for you physically and mentally, emotionally. Notice what you notice. And now, since our practice focus today is the jaw, bring your attention to your jaw and notice in particular what it feels like. Notice if your teeth were together, if they're clenched, if you can just feel without even touching tension in the jaw. Maybe it feels relaxed and soft. Maybe you can't really tell. Where's the tongue resting in the mouth? Is it floating? Is the tongue on the upper palate or resting in the basin of your mouth? And then expanding awareness to include more of the face and the neck and the throat and the head. Because the jaw and the hips have a relationship, now let's bring attention down to the whole hip girdle and just sense and feel the pelvis and how it connects to the legs. That's what your hips are, that connection, essentially. How do the legs land? Is the pelvis tipping in one direction? What's happening in the pelvic floor? Okay, and now we'll begin our movement inquiry with the feet planted comfortably and either arms out to T or cactus. Let's start just by nodding the head yes. Head is staying heavy on the ground. So we'll slide the back of the head to lift the chin away from the chest. Feel the throat open. Try to keep the lips closed here so you get a little more stretch for the neck. And then chin toward the chest. Again, head is heavy. I'm not lifting, just sliding. And let's go slow here so we can really attune to sensation It might be a really simple movement with no sensation, but just see if you can look a little more to the subtle. And then when you lift the chin up away from the chest, bring the tip of the tongue to the back of the upper palate. You could let the lips open. And then when the chin moves down toward the chest, just allow the tongue to relax in the mouth. Let's try that a couple more times, your own pace here as the chin lifts up. The tip of the tongue traces to the back of the upper palate. And then as the chin moves toward the chest, you don't need to do anything at all with the tongue, just let it go. You might notice the rest of the spine moving in response, and let's now incorporate that. So when you lift the chin, the lower back can press into the ground. And when you bring the chin toward the chest, arch to a little back bend. Make that space between your lumbar spine and the floor. Tongue to the back of the upper palate. And when you lift the chin, and relaxing the tongue when the chin moves downward. Arms and shoulders are heavy. You don't have to glue them down. They might be moving. Coordinating the breath as well. So when the back presses into the floor, exhale. And when the back arches away from the floor, inhale. If you're doing it opposite, just go with it. It's a lot to coordinate here, the breath and the spine and the head and the tongue. A couple more times. Gradually make your way back to stillness at center. Let's keep the feet planted. Open the arms out to a T, preferably palms up. And now we'll nod the head no. So rolling the head to look over to the left or the right. And then rolling the head in the opposite direction. Root the opposite shoulder down. So the head rotating to the left, try to pin press right shoulder down into the floor. And let's open the eyes and have the eyes going in the same direction as the head. They might look further than your head allows you to look in a sense, right? So head going in one direction and then keep rotating the eyeballs to look toward the floor. Opposite shoulder lightly rooting down. Let's go one or two more times, side to side. Try to go slow here. Sometimes we're figuring it out and we end up going fast just to like get there, and that's cool. But then try to go slower, like you're moving through something thick. Gradually bring the head back to center. Keep your feet planted. Let's keep the arms out to a T. And now we'll isolate movement with the jaw. So you can slightly open the mouth. And this is a side bend. So lower jaw shifts over to one side and then over to the other side. Keep the head centered, just move the jaw. It's probably, I'm sure you feel like, wow, I look weird. Who cares? Nobody's watching. Finding that pain-free range of motion. And now let's get the head going in the same direction as the jaw. So rolling the head to the left, say, and side bending the jaw to the left. So mouth is slightly open, and it's like the jaw is moving closer to the floor. Same thing on the other side, rotating the head to the right. Keep moving the jaw toward the floor to the right. Let's add the eyes as well, everybody. So head rolling, jaw shifting, eyes rotating toward the floor. In any particular order, could go all at once. Maybe the eyes finish the movement. Let's add our rooting of the opposite shoulder. Just as downward pressure. It'll increase the stretch in the neck. This is part of why it's always good to go slow. If we rush sometimes, it's like, oh boy, all of a sudden, and it's too much. Next time you come through center, just pause. Feel your breath in your body. And now we're going to try to move in opposite motions. So the head and the eyes go one way, and the jaw side bends the other way. So we could all start together. Turn your head to the left, eyes to the left, jaw shifting to the right. Turn your head to the right, eyeballs keep rotating right, jaw shifts to the left. Couple more times. If you wanted to include the shoulder rooting, head and eyes go one way, jaw goes the other way, and that's the shoulder that roots. So whatever direction the head rotates, the opposite shoulder presses down. Gradually make your way back to center. Arms still at a T. Let's take the feet wider than the hips and begin to windshield wiper the legs side to side. Slowly and with intention. When you rock to the inner edge of that one leg, Push the inner edge of the foot into the floor, drive the knee away and squeeze that glute so we can get into the hips a little bit more. And make sure this outer leg is dropping all the way down. Layering on more actions. Opposite shoulder presses down. Head rotating opposite the direction the legs go. And eyeballs as well. So legs go one way, opposite shoulder roots. Head and eyes go opposite the legs. You can always pick and choose if it's like too much to get it all going. Just do what works for you. Okay, one more element, and I let others drop off to be sure this one's included because it's our focus. It's the jaw. So we'll add our side bend of the jaw opposite the direction the head is going. So feel free to like take some of the stuff out. Head goes one way, jaw goes other way. So the jaw is going in the same direction as the legs. So good for the brain, all these opposites, all these diagonals. It's like patting your head, rubbing your stomach, and doing four other things. So just go slow and be patient and lighthearted. And as long as you're moving, you're benefiting. Couple more times. Legs go one way, head goes opposite, head and eyes go in the same direction, jaw and legs go in the same direction. And then eventually come back to center. Let's drop back into Shavasana after all that complexity. Like straight, arms by your sides, hips heavy. Make sure your teeth are parted. At this point, your lips are probably also not wanting to come together. Let that be. Notice if there's already more of a sense of space in your mouth. And notice your breath. Let's plant the feet again, comfortably. Bring your hands behind your neck. So hands on the upper neck, not where we normally go. And then head is down here. You're going to squeeze the forearms into the jaw. So if you have a watch on, you might want to remove it because you'll be pressing that watch or any bracelets. You'll be pressing that into your jaw. Not very comfortable. So I'm squeezing. It's like I'm bilaterally trapping the jaw between my forearms. And then add just a little side bend. So the forearm's going to resist as the jaw presses into the forearm. Side to side, just a couple times here. And then jaw back to center, still having the hands at the behind the neck, still trapping the jaw in a sense between your forearms. And now we're going to apply a downward pressure and brush the forearms from basically like right in front of the ear all the way down the jaw. Don't recommend talking and doing this. Down to the chin. And just let the jaw open more if the forearms seem to create that. Keep going. Hopefully it feels pretty good. So just apply the right amount of tension to, that I hate to say hurts so good, but that's kind of what it is, like a deep massage. One more time. And then from here, you can release your hands from behind your neck and let your head rest. And let's stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. So fingertips point up toward the ceiling, arms not overhead, arms up to vertical with the palms connected. And then reach the arms up toward the ceiling together. Feel the shoulders lift away from the floor and the shoulder blades protract or move away from the spine. What am I missing here? Okay, we're keeping the arms straight, everybody. Please don't bend your elbows and don't let one hand outrun the other. So the hands are together symmetrically and they stay that way. And the elbows are straight. I know I just said that, but I say it like 6 times and then everybody bends their elbows. Okay, so arms are straight, hands stay together. Shift your arms over to one side. So if you shift your arms to the left, and you'll feel the right shoulder lift away from the floor. And then same thing, other side. Keep your pelvis and your legs steady where they are. So they're not going with the movement. We're trying to create some rotation in the spine and this opening through the back. Let's add the head rotating opposite the arms go. Opposite the direction the arms go. Notice if your hips lifting up, try to keep it down. You could add eyeballs too, so rotate the head and keep rotating your gaze toward the floor. It might be interesting to notice if the hips, the pelvis is lifting when you go one direction but not the other. Work a little harder on that side to keep the pelvis still. Couple more times side to side, bringing up that stretch to the upper back, the neck. Noticing how it's happening, maybe through the abdominals and the rib cage. Once you're back to center, let the arms release down to the floor, out at a T again, if that works for you, with the palms up. Keep the right foot planted and drape the left leg on top of the right leg. We're not going for figure four, so try to eliminate any space between the thighs. If left leg is on top, our direction will be in the left. That's my suggestion. Rocking to the inner edge of the right foot and just allow the legs to release without force. Keep your right shoulder down as the legs move opposite, and then bring the legs back up to center. Let's repeat a couple times. Go slow. Let gravity do the work. Next time the legs are up at center, just pause, don't switch. Left leg is on top. Bring your arms up again. You call it like the church steeple shape. Elbows straight, hands stay connected. Legs go left, arms go right. This one always feels like awkward to me, like I can't get very far. So if that's what you're feeling, you're not alone. Try that a few more times. Don't bend the elbow to suddenly now be able to get further. Just work within that limited range of motion. You could try maybe like starting the arms first or the legs first if you feel like you just can't go anywhere with one or the other. Couple more times. You're always welcome to pause anywhere. We do a lot of movement here on the floor in this practice, but sometimes so valuable to just stop and watch and listen inwardly and breathe. Once you're back to center, let the arms release back to the T. Switch the cross of the legs. The right leg is on top. Let's just work through the hips and the lower body a few times. Legs drop to the right, left shoulder stays down. Flowing in and out. Once you're back to center, the legs vertical, just pause. You can bring your arms up toward the ceiling again. Legs go right, arms shift left. They don't have to start at the same time. Notice what's happening in the jaw and the breath, shoulders and the hips. Last one on this side. Once you're back to center, come back into Shavasana. Legs straight, arms by your sides, resting in awareness. Okay, so just stay in Shavasana here and let's open the whole jaw wide, like your biggest yawn. And then we're going to go a very slow motion close. So you might take like almost a minute. I mean, it could be like 20, 30 seconds, but not just open, close, open and slow close. So if you've already started, cool. If you haven't, we'll go together. Open the jaw and pause and really stretch, stretch, stretch vertically, horizontally, diagonally, and then slowly take your time beginning to bring the lips together. Yeah, a minute would be a really long time, so maybe like 30 seconds or so. No need to time yourself. Let's go a couple more times on your own. Big open stretch of the jaw whenever it fits into your flow, and then a slow close. Maybe one more time. You might notice changes in your breathing. So your diaphragm, that primary breathing muscle, shares attachment points to the psoas, which is big hip muscle. It's all connected. And then please don't rush to finish, but whenever you finish that one, you might notice that the lips just don't even want to stay together. That's cool. You can keep them parted. Let's bring the finger pads now, like of the three middle fingers probably, but whatever works for you, to your temporomandibular joint. So basically kind of where upper and lower jaw meet. And I'm just gonna palpate and kind of poke and prod around there. You can keep the jaw as it is, or you can keep the fingers still and do a little open and close of the jaw. So it's more finger pads, I'd say, than tips. So you get a little more surface contact. You could do a little brush down. Again, this isn't mega technique, it's feeling. And then from there, take your hands behind your head, now behind the base of the skull, not the neck, and plant your feet about hip width apart. With your inhalation, exaggerate your lumbar curve so there's a gap between the spine and the floor, and press your elbows and your arms down into the floor. As you exhale, press the whole spine into the floor. Lift your head, lift your shoulder blades, and squeeze the elbows together and toward the knees. Let's follow the breath here. Repeat. So the hips are staying down. Expand through the belly, root the arms on the inhale, and then with your exhale, peel the shoulder blades up off the ground. Layering on our cranial nod. When you arch to your back bend and press the arm bones down, lift the chin away from the chest. Head is sliding on the hands. And then exhale, really tuck the chin down and in. Open the jaw on the inhale, see if you can layer that on. And then just relax the jaw, let it relatively close with the exhale. Let's also stretch the tongue outside of the mouth on the inhale. And then bring the tongue back in and let it relax on the exhale. Spine is arching, arms are rooting, jaw is opening, and chin is lifting, tongue is stretching out on the inhale. Exhale, back is rooting, we're curling up, elbows together, chin down and in. Can we add the eyes? So you can look kind of back behind you on the inhale and then down toward the navel with the exhale. Couple more times. Okay, and then at the end of that one, you can slide the legs straight, drop back into the full release of Shavasana, and noticing the field of sensation, tingling, pulsing, vibration, breath, temperature. Okay, let's come onto the belly, come into a prone position. Kind of prop yourself up onto your elbows and interlace your hands around your, kind of like the juncture between the neck and the bottom of your skull. And then that same kind of trapping we did before with the forearms. So we're going to bring the elbows together and see if you can trap your jaw between your forearms. And then press one forearm more into the jaw. And then the other. And toggle back and forth a few times. You might want to walk your elbows back toward you so they're like a little more in line with the ears rather than out in front of you. couple more times, just a little side to side. The jaw can press in to resist or not. And then we'll do that same kind of drag. So maybe it's the forearms moving. I find like you could instead move the head a little bit, like a little yes nod. Mouth is open. Okay, and then from here, stack your hands and rest your forehead onto your hands. And relax your shoulders and relax everything as best you can for a moment. From here, take hold of your elbows. So prop up onto the forearms, head and chest lift up. Let's tuck the toes under, drive back through the heels, squeeze your glutes and press the pubic bone into the floor. So the whole lower body is really active. Elbows are at least slightly in front of the shoulders. How much depends on is up to you. So you could have them far out front, not going to get as high. It's going to be more lengthening, or you could have them a little bit further back and then it's more of a back bend. Either way, we're pressing the elbows down, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Root the front of the pelvis down. Just keep squeezing the glutes. And then make sure the back of the neck is long. So slightly tuck the chin and move the back of the head back. Like there's a hand right behind your head and you just want to press lightly into that. So I don't want to be looking forward with creases in the back of the neck. And I'd also rather you not just drop the head. Find that place in the middle. Stretch the skin of the belly. Untuck your toes. Let your elbows slide apart so you can stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Take your arms into cactus. So elbows align with shoulders. Elbows are bent at about 90 degrees. And then bring your chin to the floor. Open the jaw. And then let it close again. Try that a couple times. And kind of close slow, not crazy slow, but don't just let it like clamp shut. This is a little weird. It's a little awkward. Just try it. You can always make little adjustments as to how you're approaching it or your position. Let's try opening the jaw and holding for about 20 seconds. And then once again, slowly closing it. And then when you're ready, we're coming back one more time to our Sphinx variation where we hold the elbows, activate through the legs, squeeze the glutes, really press actively pubic bone into the ground. Shoulders move down the back. And then open your jaw wide and just kind of yawn. You can hold that or repeat a couple times or just do it once and see if you can, almost like you're yawning your lower belly too. Maybe do it together. Yawn the belly and yawn the normal yawn. And then as you come down, I'm going to tuck one arm underneath you and roll onto your back, returning to Shavasana. What's here now?